Everybody wants to know what Rich Rodriguez is like, what it's like to play for RichRod, and what does hard edge mean? Well, I've got somebody tonight that can answer all those questions and more, and you're going to want to stick around to find out who it is.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host, and this is Locked On West Virginia, brought to you by FanDuel, guys. Spend that first $5 bet, and you'll get 150 in bonus bets if you win, guys. Don't forget to go to FanDuel.com to get started. And thank you for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen every single day, guys. You're being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team every single day. So, obviously, there's a new coach in town. And I found it pretty interesting that he's had a lot of players follow him, but we actually had one player precede him to West Virginia. Actually, two. Kikor Tarnu is one of those players, and another one was a freshman All-American for this guy at Jack State under the tutelage of Rick Trickett, and has waited in the wings for his time to protect Nico's blind side, if you will. We're talking about none other than the awesome West Virginia native, South Charleston native, Xavier Bausley. What's up with my dude?
What's up? It's good to be back. Good to be back. Hopefully, this time my camera doesn't freeze like it did last time. You know, with the West Virginia internet, it ain't the best. So we'll try.
The West Virginia internet is the thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining me, man. This has been an interesting process for you because you obviously went on to, I hate to say it like this, but you wanted to go up to bigger, better things from Jack State.
Yeah.
You got a freshman All-American season there, crushed it. Obviously, all you guys, was in your first year in FBS.
Yeah.
And you guys go on to a 9-win year there, and really just in his first year in the FBS, behind a really good rushing attack that you were kind of one of the leaders of. Man, what an awesome start to a career for you. Obviously, you make the jump to West Virginia. You want to come home, and here you are. But there's a certain coach that was involved in that I think a lot of people want to know about. So I think the first question, as you can see up there in the box, in your opinion, what does hard-edged mean? Because obviously there's been heard a lot about it. We've even heard maybe some shots thrown at it because it's being thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? Because I hear not only does he talk about it, but he lives it.
Yeah, I think it's been kind of misconstrued into a saying. RichRod does not like sayings. Like that's not what he likes. He likes being about something. It's more of a philosophy than a saying, and it's just that
that's what fans do.
Yeah. You're gonna want to outwork everybody at everything that you do. And when you look back at your career, you're going to look back and say, I worked as hard as I possibly can. There was nothing more that I could give to this program. And it just gives you a certain confidence that knowing that you work harder than any team in the nation.
And what do you remember that being like at Jack State? Obviously, they put a lot of money into the facilities there. I don't know if you were there to see a lot of that to fruition.
I was not.
But I mean, still, hard work is hard work. What was that like for you, and what was it like living it? Because, like you said, it's a philosophy. What does that entail exactly? I mean, obviously, he's got this staff that all work towards this goal of being hard edged. What does that look like on the day to day?
I mean, everything you do is 100%. There's very little walkthroughs. It's all running. You're always getting in better shape. You're always adapting to his speed because we're going to go fast. We're going to go faster than anybody in the nation. I mean, it's not going to be close. I've been in it. There's not going to be time for replays. So you better pay attention the first time because
you pay attention the first time.
Yeah, because there's not going to be a time for we're going to have ran 3 plays by the time that replay's over. So it's going to be. It's getting in shape. It's a commitment to be great. It's a commitment to put everything you have into something.
I would be remiss if I didn't say this first, and you'll have to forgive me, Xavier. I didn't go over this with you before we started, but we actually have somebody that helped us make this happen tonight, and that's the
Okay.
Wolfpack. Can you do me a favor and shout those guys out, man? Because what they do with the Children's Hospital at West Virginia is amazing. The Wolfpack and the Children's Hospital.
Yep. I mean, anybody that helps the Children's Hospital out, I mean, the Children's Hospital means so much to me. It's right there across the facility. I mean, you see it every day. It reminds you that there's a lot more things more important than football out there, and the fact that you can make a difference in one of those kids' lives is just you can't do anything better than that.
I appreciate the Wolfpack for getting that done today because,
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff is important. Football is important. Helping sick kids are more important than almost anything
Yeah.
to me. So I'm sorry for not talking to you. That we were so rushed to get this started.
That's no
I forgot
problem.
to tell you one of the most important parts. So thanks to those guys from the Wolfpack for helping me get this done for you and everything like that. So
Yeah.
okay. So moving on to you. So obviously you leave Jack State, and for me, it's one of those things where obviously I had my eye on you early because you're a West Virginia kid, right? And you admitted to me during that process. I remember we were talking early, and you said, "Look, it was just amazing. It still amazes me that you have the level of self-awareness as a young guy." You said, "I really wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough." And there's a reason you had to go to a lower level, which Jack State's still pretty good, but it was FCS at the time when you went, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were admitting to yourself, like, hey, look, I'm not really ready for this level yet. I'm going to go here and develop, and let's do it. Can you talk a little bit about that process for yourself, being honest with yourself that you just weren't there yet? And how quickly did you improve once you got there working with Trickett and those guys?
Yep. So when Triggett said the moment that he realized I was going to be good was when I was in high school. He was at Glenville at the time, and he came in and we had a meeting, and he brought a couple older guys in to talk to, and I was just a young freshman, and he said that I was like the two older guys were kind of joking around and not really taking Glenville State serious. And, I was a freshman and I was looking him in the eyes and he could tell that I just had a hunger to be good.
Right.
So when he got the job at Jack State, he called me about 8 times. I was at basketball practice when he got it. So I think he was nervous that I wasn't going to pick up. But I called him back and he was like, "I'm taking the job here. I want to take you there." And connections in the world, that's the way you be successful, is just building these connections. And I was lucky enough to, because if it wasn't for Jacksonville State, I'd have been at D2. And I think, I mean, I can't thank Trigger enough for that opportunity.
Something I think is a little bit of a misconception. Okay. Can you explain just layman's terms the difference between the blocking scheme that Neil and those guys ran versus what they do at Jack State? Because I think people have the misconception that it's so different and that our offensive linemen that we have now aren't really geared towards that type of blocking scheme.
Yeah, I mean it's the same run heavy scheme, just a lot faster. Now there's not as much like outside zone because
Right.
it's harder to run that fast because you're running off the ball, and
Right.
it's tougher to run that. But it's the same run heavy style that I think because Rich was one of the innovators of the spread. I think people
Right.
get a misconception and that's why I had to explain to some guys on the team was that they say he's the innovator in the spread. That doesn't mean he throws the ball. He runs the ball like a lot out of the spread. So, I mean, the running back there had 23 touchdowns last year, Trey Stewart.
It's what they do, right?
Yeah,
It's what they do.
It's what they do. I mean, when he was at West Virginia, that's what they did. Like that
So it's not a gap heavy scheme, right?
There's some gaps plays in there, but it's inside zone a lot of the time.
Right. My point is people are trying to say that what Matt Moore taught you guys is so far beyond and different than what you're going to learn from whoever Rich hires. And I just don't see that. I personally don't think that's true, and I'm not an expert, but just from what little I
Yeah.
know, I just wanted to bring that up because people were thinking it's going to be a transition for you guys as a whole to
Yeah,
learn this.
I think offensive line is it's a very like we've been playing football for how long? 150 years now. Like it's pretty figured out. Like there's not you can't run
We're not
much.
not
Yeah.
breaking news on it, are we?
No, yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be similar no matter unless you got like unless we would have got Army's coach and ran the flex bone or something, you know.
That would have been wild, man.
Yeah.
Run what did Tony Caridi call it? We're going to run bone. We're just going to
Yeah.
run bone. Only he can make that weird. Up next on Locked On West Virginia, guys, what is Xavier's expectations for himself and for the season this year? I think that's important. We'll get into that and more on this episode of Inside RichRod and Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by Rocket Money, guys. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about that you were paying for twice? Well, it definitely happened to me, and I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for. Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is an easy, personal use finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps lower bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has a total of 500 million canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of this app's premium features. For me, one of the best features is a subscription tracker. I've used it to cancel several services I wasn't using anymore. If you want to do that, cancel your unwanted subscriptions at Rocket Money, guys. Reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. And I am back with Xavier Bausley here on Locked On West Virginia. Thanks for your patience, brother. It's a little different than the last time I had you on.
Yeah.
It was just my own show.
Yeah.
And I had a company approach me about working for them, and they kind of bought me out, but let me keep the hosting job. It's been pretty fun, and it's growing like wildfire. So it's been great. It's been a big change since the last time we had you on, though. Okay, so obviously I think I don't know I honestly haven't put together in my head what the expectations for this team is yet, obviously, because there is so much that isn't figured out. So I thought, well, if I know Xavier, he's got personal goals this year. And if everything goes to plan, my plan too, not just yours, because I'm a big fan of yours, obviously, knocking on wood, you're going to be protected. Nico's blind side is the right tackle.
Yeah.
Is that the goal you have set for yourself?
Yep. I mean, that would definitely be the goal. I mean, Nico is just such a great guy. You know, you don't want to see his jersey dirty ever. So,
right.
I mean, it would definitely be a huge honor to protect his blind side. And he's a tough guy. He's definitely the hard edge guy. He works hard. He can take coaching. So I think that it'll fit well with the RichRod system.
Yeah, I do too. And he's a mobile guy. I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. He's going to have a chance to win this job. I don't know if he'll bring anybody else in. I don't know if the plans are to bring anybody else in. So, but it's going to be interesting to see. And I think one thing a lot of people think is that this offensive line room is a total rebuild. I don't really see it like that because I thought I turned this down. A lot of guys have played a lot, whether it's at Jack State or whether it's here. You got guys like Livingston, yourself. Even though Williams and guys like that may have moved on, I think this offensive line's in a pretty good spot. A lot of people don't know about Kyle Altuner, who I think is going to be a stud.
Yeah.
Could have started last year had he not gotten hurt. Like he was on that track. This offensive line's in a good spot. And I'm just so excited. Obviously, I'm a big offensive line guy. I'm excited to see the transition you guys make. I was looking forward to the trick at coaching you guys. I'm not going to lie. But at 76, I think, staying with your kid obviously makes a lot of sense for him. No matter who your offensive line coach is, though, there's a standard in that room right now. Can you talk about the standard that went from Frazier to Milam and has been passed on to you, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Sorry, I'm trying to
standard
fix
of.
my camera
Oh,
here.
you're good. It's a standard of excellence. I mean, you are optional work is not optional. And, the coaches
Right.
don't make us do it. But if you don't come into optional film at 4:30, we're going to hold you accountable for that. And it's there's a huge expectation for you to be good and for you to put everything you have into this. And we know how important the offensive line is, and I think people in West Virginia know how important the offensive line is. Um, and if the offensive line doesn't stack up, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is or your receivers. I think Harbaugh talked about it. The offensive line is the only position where you affect everybody else on the team, but nobody else on the team affects you. Like you control the entire team. So yeah,
That's it. I think obviously it's well known you're good on both lines of scrimmage. You got a shot, right, every single
yeah,
week. And that's what I love about this. The way Matt Moore did a great job, by the way. He did
yeah,
he did a great job building this line, getting the culture right. And I'm excited to see that extended on to the future because I
yeah.
think
Like,
this team's still got
congrats
to.
to him for going to Virginia Tech. I hate Virginia
Yeah,
Tech as much as the next West
yeah,
Virginia guy, but I'm
right,
just happy to see him get another big job because he deserves that.
right. And see, people were saying something about Young Bear. Did he commit? Has that broken? I
Young
haven't
Bear.
heard. Yeah, a guy by the name of Walter Youngbear. People put it in the chat.
Well, I hope he commits. With
Yeah,
a name like Young Bear.
yeah, you're right. He's probably pretty good.
I
He's probably
guess.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Get his take on playing for RichRod Cricket. We did already, brother. Well, okay. People want to know what it's like to play for Matt Moore versus Rick Trickett if you want to compare.
Very similar. Very, very similar. And you can see it. Both of them got great results out of their offensive line. Both very detail oriented. Both have a standard that they will not let anyone lower. And I think that they both commit to excellence.
Awesome. And give me a comparison between Neil and Rich. Just whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think they both have high expectations. I think they have two different ways of going about getting those expectations. Coach Rich is is a little more fiery, a little more being an understatement. But there's multiple ways you can skin a cat. I guess you could say like Dan Lanning at Oregon. He's more of a new
He's
school
fiery
guy,
guy.
and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's so the comparisons are going to be made just because of the job, but I mean, uh, I think both are going to be successful. Uh, but I'm excited for Rich to be here.
So yes, apparently West Virginia did land Walter Youngbear, a 6'3", 312-pound guy from Tulsa.
Oh,
He
okay.
redshirted 2021, appeared in 10 or more games every season thereafter, and he was an all ACC guy this year. So a talented guy.
AAC.
Yeah, all American.
Yeah, the all conference,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
American conference, not
The
yeah,
all American
yeah,
conference. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's a little confusing, isn't it?
yeah,
What if you were an all American and the all AAC? It gets way too much. Then,
yeah.
doesn't it?
That'd be too much.
Okay, so trying to figure out what else to ask you next, man. Is there anything you? Oh, I know. Is there something you wanted to tell the fans, or anything that you had on your mind to kind of get out? Because
This is
I
gonna
know.
sound random, but the first down tradition we do.
Yeah.
I've been worried that they're not gonna be able to do that unless the announcer is really on his P's and Q's. Because like we're gonna
Oh,
be doing WVU first down, and we're gonna be already running another play. So
well,
I just think we might need to speed up the chant or something. We got to do something because I just don't know if we'll be able to get it off in time.
in my generation, when Richard was here before, we were able to keep up, but he
Yeah.
didn't go at the tempo. He sped up his
No, he
tempo.
sped up even more. Yeah.
Yeah, because what they did with Pat White was it was fast, but it was a little more ball control oriented.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he still not have the guys look to the sideline to get the play after you guys set up, or is that just
No, we're looking at the play running to the line.
because of the helmets, right? I forgot.
Well, I mean, like when they're getting in the signal, like they're not getting to the line. They're like running and looking at the same time. So just
Okay, well,
everything
that's
is
definitely
is
different.
predicated on just going fast. Like we have I don't even know why he calls it jet tempo, but because that's what we do all the time. Every play's jet tempo, but that's yeah. So I mean, like, yeah. So it's gonna be fast, and I think it's kind of a mentality thing. Like when you run three straight plays super fast, and the D linemen got their hands on their hips, and we're not tired. Like that. It's a great feeling. Like knowing that you are just outworking them play after play. Once they get tired, I mean, that's when you have
It's
missed
over
gap
with.
assignments and them not playing hard. That's why you see Rich and bust like 70-yard runs because the D lineman, look. I mean, I love my guys on the other side, but they don't like to. They don't like. If you ask any of them, they don't like fast tempo. So yeah,
So there's a couple of funny comments on here. There's somebody put 20-second average between snaps is the fastest in the nation in Jack State. Oh boy.
yeah,
Somebody else put light speed's too slow. Too slow. Let's go ludicrous speed.
yeah.
Let's see. Oh, my buddy Kurt here says, Xavier, can you tell us a player we don't know but we should or will by next season?
Hmm. I would have to say, I got to go with one of my linemen. I have to go with Nick Cray. Nick Cray, if like I think he averaged 25 points and 15 rebounds in high school on
We need
basketball.
him in the team.
He's a ridiculous athlete. So
Uh,
he he if he puts all the pieces together that he has, he can be an All American NFL type player like that.
Yeah. Guys, anybody that's not a part of the team, we can't go over like any potential future coaches or anything like that. We talked about that off camera. So, because obviously I went there, but there
Yeah,
are some things we can't talk about on here. So, but I appreciate y'all asking and chiming in. We got a 5-minute segment on the other end of the break. We'll put a bow on this, guys, and thank Xavier for being here. We got almost 500 watching, so we'll put a bow on this. Get you guys where to know where Xavier is, where you can find him, where you can find me, and all that. And also,
yeah,
I got a couple of extra credit questions for him next. Stick around,
yeah.
guys. This is Locked On West Virginia, Inside RichRod with Xavier Bausley. And this episode is going to be brought to you by FanDuel, guys. That's right, FanDuel, because new customers can finish the season with $250 in bonus bets. If you bet that first $5 bet, guys, FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up the W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's thrilling, dude. Not only can you bet on who will win the game, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and so much more. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance of 250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. All right, we are in ludicrous tempo with Xavier Bausley. Okay, man. So let's go over under on a question here. Over or under 2,000 total rushing yards for this team next year?
Definitely over. I mean,
Definitely over. Okay.
oh, definitely over.
Yeah,
That
I like it. I like it.
yeah.
Is I don't know if that's a fair question. I'll ask it, and if you can dodge it, you can dodge it.
Yeah.
Is the leading rusher on the roster, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, if nothing changes, I guess.
Hey, look,
I mean, I mean, I only know so much, man. So I know
yeah.
where that question is aiming towards. I hope, I hope.
You know what's funny is I didn't mean it to do that, but it did that.
Oh
Didn't
yeah,
it? I wasn't even trying to catch you up. I was honestly just asking a general question, but yeah, I guess it would seem like it was that Jaheim, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go there really quick before we get off of here. So obviously, his skill set is literally made for this offense. I told him myself, right? Texted him the other day. We were talking about it because I think that's when I texted you and I was like, yeah, man. But yeah, so obviously he would crush it in this offense. And he reminds me a lot of Slayton, but he also reminds me of the guy Stewart they just had. This is an offense made for a running back with jukey, shifty moves like him because
Yeah.
once you start getting, especially once you get guys tired, guys like Jaheim make people miss, So I
Yeah.
think he would be. I hope, crossing fingers, nothing's happened yet. Nothing's happened
Yeah.
yet. That's all we can go for.
Yeah. I mean, I told him straight up that we're going to run the ball. Like I don't see uh I mean, we're going to run the ball more. I would say just because we're going to run more plays than last year because of how fast we go. Like I remember my when I was at Jack State, my freshman All American season, I
Yep.
had 900 total snaps and I missed a game. So
Wow.
like, yeah, so like, we run a lot of plays and it's a lot of runs, and I think it's so unique because almost every other hurry up team like Texas Tech and all them they throw the ball,
Yep.
but what really just establishes like a gritty mindset is running inside zone at a million mile per hour pace, you know?
So does RichRod and I don't know if you can answer this or not, but you know how Neil does all the formations and all that stuff, runs the
Yeah.
same plays out of those formations. Does RichRod do something like that, or is he more just kind of I'm just going to do my thing really fast, and if you can stop it, you can stop it, kind of thing?
Yeah, it's not as much like shifting and motioning. There's not enough time. Rich Rod sees that as time for the defense to rest. So
More smash mouth. I like what
yeah,
Earthy said. Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. The pace is really the defining factor of it. Like it's pace with running the ball, and it's just I'm telling you, there's gonna be a moment next year where you're gonna see the D lineman tired, and we're gonna break a big run. I mean, that's just how it is. If
Well,
because
I'm excited for that because it hasn't
yeah,
happened a lot lately, man. Unfortunately,
yeah.
uh, yeah. I mean, we just had a rough year last year. It is what it is. Just things didn't work out like they should have, but it's okay. I think 6 wins is still great for
That's
the
not great.
context. For
I hate
context, well,
losing.
I'm trying to be half full, glass full
I
here
got
because
you. I
what
got
am I supposed to say, Xavier? You sucked last year.
you.
Like you know what I'm saying, dude?
I, I hate losing more than I like winning.
Yeah.
When we lose, my next couple days are messed up. Like I just I don't I hate it. I want more than anybody for us to be successful. That's something I will argue to my grave that I hate losing. And losing is the worst thing in this world. And I think what people get a misconception of is like the players that the fans care more than the players. Like that's so stupid. I mean, we put so many hours into this, and for it to not
Right.
work out, that crushes us. It crushes us.
Right. Yeah. I see where you're coming from there.
Yeah,
I do. I think it's just it's obviously come with this new portal era of things that
yeah,
maybe there are some players it means less to, but I agree with you. Like generally speaking, the players care as much. It's
yeah,
just that they are coached to move on to the next one so quickly
yeah.
because you can't stay stuck, right? Or else you'll just be screwed. So
Yep, and I mean, Rich is the same way. Like Rich lives and dies with every win and loss. Like that's how he is. And
yeah,
and when if we have a really bad game, that it's not going to be a happy place to be in Mahalo Pescar Stadium the next day. I'm telling you, it's
you
going to be
know,
intense.
what's his name? He's a reporter for Jack State. His name is Thomas. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Ashworth,
Yeah, yeah. I had him on. He had a great story about RichRod. He said something really bad happened during practice one day, and RichRod said, "Everybody get off the field, no interviews."
yeah.
And he said that RichRod came over like 5 minutes later, and was like, "I'm sorry, man. What do you need?"
Yeah, Rich is so funny. I mean,
He's moody like that.
yeah, but he's so like even when he's yelling, I try not to laugh sometimes. He be saying some really funny stuff. Like I remember one time we were at Jack State and we had a play called Nitro, like Nitro left, Nitro right. And I can't tell what the play is, but it does have to do with the story. But I remember one time one of our guard or something messed up Nitro, and he was like, maybe if I call it Nacho or something, maybe your fat self will get
Wow.
it.
That's
Oh man,
crazy, dude.
and you know yelling
Nacho.
is yeah, but it's funny to me.
There's a reason a
He,
guy as funny as McAfee is such a big fan as his too, in my opinion.
oh
Right?
yeah, and it's the same. It's just now it's not funny when it's directed at me, but it's.
I want to make sure he
I mean,
sees
I've
this.
had my fair share of hard coaching, as he would call it, and that's what you need, man. I want to know that been coached as hard as I can to be the best player that I can.
Right. People keep asking me to ask this question. I'll see what he says. Is he willing to answer what his opinion is that led to the season not being what everybody hoped it would be?
Um, I'll have to pass on that one.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
A lot of people loving the stories in the chat. Listen, we're 500 deep in here. I appreciate you guys for showing up for this. Xavier Bausley at Bausley Xavier. Do me a favor. Everybody that's here, give him a follow. He deserves it. He is going to be a starting player on that offensive line next year. I'd be shocked if he wasn't. I mean, shocked, literally. He just from what I know, he almost beat Nick Malone out last year, and he's humble. So I'm not saying anything, but yeah, like he was really close to beating
Nick
Nick
Malone
out.
was one of
Nick's
the
a really good
highest.
player.
He was one of the highest graded players in the nation. I mean, I learned a lot from him. He is a
Right. But you
technical
almost beat him out.
master.
That's true. Like I know that's true. It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying you're a good player. So
Yeah,
you'll be on that offensive line. You'll probably start next year, in my opinion. Now, if it doesn't happen, it
yeah,
doesn't happen. And we're all pulling for you, man. So
yeah.
if you want to follow one of the starters on the team, one of the leaders, one of the only guys that know what a hard edge actually feels like, Xavier Bausley, man, at Bausley Xavier on X. Go over there and hit that follow button. Don't even worry about me. Make sure you go over there and do that. Is there anything else you need them to follow you on, like Instagram?
I mean, I'm Xavier Bausley on Instagram.
Pretty easy to find, huh?
Yeah. It's not a very common name.
It's not like
but,
Fly Guy Brandon.
Yeah, yeah. But I've been denied verification on Instagram a couple times, so hopefully if I get
You're
a
not
couple
who
more
you are.
followers,
You got too big, right?
I guess. I don't know what makes them not verify me.
You
All my
take your
posts
picture
are
like this.
football. Maybe all my posts are football and a couple pictures of my girlfriend. So I mean, like, I don't know what else more they want from me.
You just got like 1,000 extra followers just because people want to see what your girlfriend looks like now.
Oh, she's taken, man.
I'm kidding with you, bro. Oh man, guys, make sure you follow Xavier. Also, hit the like button for here. Hit that subscribe button if you can. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions for Xavier. If there are any really pressing or good ones, I'll try to get one to him. And follow us both on X. I'm at Paul Mountaineer. He's at Xavier Bausley Xavier underneath there. And I think that's it. I want to thank the Wolfpack once again for helping us out with this.
Can I say something real fast?
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, y'all don't see the behind the scenes of what Mountaineer Paul does, but like, he's one of the most genuine guys that I've come across in the media. So like, this what he does on the podcast. I don't watch his podcast just because I don't have time really, but there's nothing that he's doing that is a front. There's so many guys in the media that just kind of harass players, like, and aren't down to earth with them, and it really is. He's a good dude, man.
It means a lot, bro. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. That means a lot from you. It really does. All right, guys. That caught me off guard a little bit. Got me blushing a little bit, but I thank you for that, man. We wish you guys a Merry Christmas. It is the holiday season, and so to you and yours, I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday. You is the same, Xavier. Are you back home right now?
Yeah, back in Dunbar.
Okay.
Happy to be home. Got my mama's cooking for the first time in a while.
That's pretty good. You have to work that off, though.
That's what them workouts in the morning are for, man. running off some mashed potatoes and stuff like that. So
I love mashed potatoes, dude. I do. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another one. I actually might go live here again later. Let me check out these commits and see what's going on. But I will bring you some
yeah, I
news
just
at
saw
some
a couple
point.
Jack State players committed. A
Right.
couple the Martinsburg kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob Perrick was my roommate at Jack State, so I'm
Okay.
excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, looks like I'll have to do some kind of review on that, guys. But until then, thanks for joining, guys. This episode's over. And for Xavier and for me, we're out.